Okay, this is Miss Darty again, and I'm going to show you how to use Research in Context, which is a Gale database, in order to browse for topics for your research project. So this is the research paper resource page, and I'm just going to click on Research in Context. And this one is different from Infobase because Infobase is set up, a lot of it's written by the company. They do pull in articles from different places, but for the most part, it's all organized the same, and a lot of it's written by the company. Gale databases pull in reference books, newspapers, magazines, uh, news shows, audio shows, radio shows, and all kinds of resources from all kinds of different media. So it's more like a mini library. Now, Research in Context is pretty user-friendly. It's pretty basic. I'm going to just go through a couple of different ways to browse. So here's the home page. At the top, you'll have some featured topics. Right now, they're featuring some holiday topics. Below that, you'll have 9 subject areas. And so you have culture, geography, government, literature, people, science, social issues, U.S. history, and world history. Because this is a paper that you have to write an opinion and take a stand on, you might want to start with social issues. So if I click on that, the card turns over, and you'll see 3 topics as a preview. You can click View All to look at all of them. And I don't know, there's about 35 or 36 topics here, and you could go into any of these. There's not that many, and they're all pretty broad, popular topics. Another thing you can do is if you decided you wanted to look at a different subject area, you can just go right in through here and choose a different category. So I can go into science and look at maybe endangered species. So science will have controversial topics as well. Now, they wouldn't all necessarily be controversial. Leonardo da Vinci was a famous scientist. This would be more if you were doing a biography report. So some of these won't necessarily fit, but you can certainly look at any of the categories for ideas. I'm going to go ahead and go back into social issues, and I'm going to choose one just as an example to show you a few other ways to browse. I'm going to go into poverty for an example. And they'll all be set up the same way, each one of these issues. You'll see at the top an overview of the subject and some basic definitions. Poverty is a state of being poor, what it means. If you click Read More, you'll get a brief article, overview article with some fast facts. Sometimes you'll find some terminology that's really important. Definitions, effects, causes, effects. Well, here we go. Here's some words to know. Most of them do have some words to know, some definitions. So this is a great place to begin. If you are starting to get really interested in a topic, you might decide that you want to start to gather some information from this resource. I clicked poverty. I went out of here and came back to the topic, what's called the topic portal again. And in poverty, we also have these other resources available. There's 150 articles in reference books that are on here. And they're actually reference books that have been put online for this database. There's 27 biographies, 48 images, 954 magazine articles, 295 audio program transcripts, 23 videos, over 1,200 news articles, and 15 primary sources. Now, if I want to see what there is for reference, I can just click on reference right here. And now I have 150 reference articles. And you'll see the title. Their topic overviews, a lot of these. This content level is really helpful. Basic is going to be fairly easy to read. Intermediate will be a little more difficult. Advanced will be even more difficult. If you find you're seeing a lot of red triangles, rather, which is advanced, you can limit it to just basic, or just basic and intermediate. And that way you would eliminate the advanced. But for this one, I didn't see too many of those. It was mostly basic. So you'd be okay with that. So that's one way to make your browsing a little easier, is to control the content level. Another thing you can do is, right now I'm looking at reference, but if I wanted to switch to look at news articles, I can click on news articles. Reference is a good place to begin, though, when you first start a topic. Another thing you can do to limit your browsing and to browse in a little more detail, poverty is a huge subject. You can click on subjects here, and this will add subjects to poverty. For example, if I want to look at poverty and child health, I can click on that. And now I have 8 news articles on that. If I want to take that out, I'll just simply hit X and I can browse another way. So you can browse by the type of resource, you can browse by subject and narrow it that way. You can also change the content level. And I think that's enough to get you started. You can also just search within the results. So if you wanted to search within these news articles for poverty and Massachusetts, if you wanted more information about what's going on locally, you can do that. But you probably don't want to do that until you've gone a little further in your research, but there's no reason that you can't start to explore while you're here, while you're browsing. So that's enough to get you started. I'm going to stop with this.